Good morning, everybody. It's Steve with Real Progressives. Today we're going to talk about just a short little revisit of the Green New Deal because it's finally getting the kind of attention and notoriety that it deserves. But a Green New Deal is not something that's new. We heard Tim Canova running on a Green New Deal everywhere he went. Tim Canova put the words Green New Deal out there in Debbie Wasserman Schultz versus Tim Canova Part 1, and also in Debbie Wasserman Schultz versus Tim Canova Part 2. But even predating Tim Canova's use of the term Green New Deal, the Green Party and Jill Stein had leveraged the Green New Deal, okay? So this is not a subject that has not been used. This is not a marketing term that has not been used for a very long time. And its roots go back to the Green Party. So let's give credit where credit is due. But I want to be very, very clear about something. There are times where people steal your intellectual property. There are times when people steal your ideas. And there are times where they literally run off and make you feel like, you son of a bitch, you just took my idea. And I go back to that Twister movie where Jonas is sitting there in the parking lot and he goes, unrealized idea, unrealized, right? And it pisses me off, no question, because I've been on the other side. I've been Bill too many times. I've been the one that came up with Dorothy only to watch somebody walk out the door and take my ideas and try and build a better mousetrap. So I understand what the Green Party feels like when they suddenly see the Justice Democrats, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and others in the Sunrise Movement running around talking about this buzzword that is all over their documentation called a Green New Deal. Now, got all that out of the way. That's the necessary maintenance right there to make sure that everybody understands that I acknowledge it, I see it, got the elephant out of the room. Now let's talk turkey. The idea of a Green New Deal should be good for the 99%. And it's party independent. It's party non-specific. Even Republicans are going to benefit from a Green New Deal. Everyone is going to benefit from a Green New Deal, whether they realize it or not. This is not one of those zero-sum gains here. And this marketing, this sloganeering stuff, it may sell well when you're trying to put an idea out there, but the devil's in the details. I assure you that the Green New Deal that Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is going to put forward will not look like the Green Deal straight out of the Green Party platform. I guarantee you they will not be a one-for-one. This is a lot of sloganeering, all right? But it's important sloganeering because we have a population, an entire country full of people that only listen to a bumper sticker's worth of information. When they read the newspaper, they read the headlines and nothing more. So if you get them with a gotcha headline, they think they know everything there is to know, and that's it, and they're moving on. So it's important to capture something like a Green New Deal, which symbolizes things to people. It gives them something to latch onto in their 2 seconds of thinking, in their 2 seconds of giving it any attention whatsoever. And I'm talking about outside the hallowed halls of us people that sit there and read every word, that dig deep, that have deep conversations about stuff the average voter doesn't care about. I'm talking about breaking outside the little teeny cocoon that we are in as activists and stretching it out into the mainstream world where I'm sitting there. This is no joke. Bernie Sanders is going to have this big progressive shindig up in Burlington, Vermont. Every progressive voice, everybody is coming there. Everybody. Stephanie Kelton will be there. The whole shooting match will be there. I'm talking about John Cusack. Everyone is going to be there. And I'm watching discussion points of people who are Bernie Sanders' most loyal followers. And they still, folks, they still don't know who Stephanie Kelton is. They still don't know who Stephanie Kelton is. They still don't have the answer to how he's going to pay for all these big programs. You still got people in there talking about how they're going to gut the military and then they'll move those funds over here. They don't understand economics. They don't care about economics. They're not doing nothing with economics. It's like, oh my God, it sounds good, but how in the world will we ever pay for it? I have no idea how we'll ever pay for it. That's how insulated and isolated these people are. Not just these people, but many people. This is a real problem. It's not the Green New Deal, the buzzword, that's the problem. And for those of you who got really, really upset about the term, the Green New Deal got taken by the Justice Democrats or whatever, get over it. That's the least of our concerns. Folks, I'm telling you, that is the least of our concerns. If you've ignored the economic narrative, let me tell you, it's just about to start mattering big time. You have bold policy prescriptions. The thing that has kneecapped us since the dawn of time is that people that don't understand economics think they're just going to tax their way to prosperity. They think they're going to find the money from somebody else. And that's why Republicans always say the only problem with socialism is eventually you run out of other people's money. They got you in spades. You're going to win every time. It's easy. Because the fact of the matter is, it's not. It is absolutely not your tax dollars that are going to fund these big programs. So a buzzword like a Green New Deal is just an entryway. It's just breaking the seal. Now the hard part, right? You're going to have to talk to people about how you're going to pay for this massive program. Now, nobody ever asks how we're going to pay for the bombs we drop in the Middle East. Nobody ever, you don't ever hear anyone go, geez, we're in trouble. We started a war and we don't have enough money to pay for bombs. You don't hear it. It never comes up. It never will come up. But the minute you ask how we're going to raise the cost of living for Social Security expansion, people are like, what's going to cause inflation? What are you going to do, print more money? Immediately, they're going to say that. Immediately, they will say that folks, immediately they're going to ask you why suddenly the thing that you need is going to cause inflation if we print more money. You get it? Print more money. It's constant. It's be ready for it. And if you're not ready for it, you're not ready for fighting for a Green New Deal. And that's why we won't have one. We need soldiers that get this shit. Not people that just read the headlines and go, oh, Green New Deal, they stole the Green Party's idea. That's not it, folks. That is, I'm telling you, it's window dressing. The real war is going to take a full-throated knowledge that the country can't go broke, that we spend money with keystrokes, and that every single time Congress authorizes spending, it spends. And it's no different when it's social spending, but we've turned it into this taboo thing. We somehow or another think we need to go robbing Peter to pay Paul, and it's not true. We give the Republicans not only the hangman noose, but the gallows to put us into it. And we even kick the chair ourselves. Imagine that we kick the chair because we're not willing to understand that the nation creates money every time it spends. Folks, they're going to go up to Burlington, Vermont, and they're going to talk about this Green New Deal. They're going to talk about climate change. They're going to talk about student debt. They're going to talk about job guarantee. And people in Bernie's mist still don't know that we create money every time we spend. They still don't know the name Stephanie Kelton. Forget the Green Party. The Green Party's still finding out that they don't understand economics. Folks, we've got a progressive problem. We've got a major progressive problem. We don't know how to pay for the programs, but we do. Bernie got the best economic advisor anyone could ever ask for in Stephanie Kelton. You owe it to your children to learn who she is. You owe it to each other to learn who she is. Stephanie, S-T-E-P-H-A-N-I, Stephanie Kelton, K-E-L-T-O-N, formerly Stephanie Bell of UMKC. I'm telling you, she's now at Stony Brook University. She just did a phenomenal lecture series called the Presidential Lecture Series at Stony Brook University, and it was titled, How Are You Going to Pay for That? How are you going to pay for it? Professor Kelton's supposed to speak there. Well, let's hope. But Stephanie was just in Australia at another group, not unlike Sunrise Movement, not unlike Real Progressives, except bigger, badder, faster, stronger, willing to fight for these things. And she went all the way to Australia to talk about a federal job guarantee. This right here, my friends, is the way it's going to be, or it's not going to be. That's the biggest thing you need to understand. You are either going to learn this or you will not get this. And I'm going to throw you for a big loop. And this is going to cause many heads to explode. Medicare for all is actually deflationary and possibly requires a tax cut because it's so efficient compared to what we have today. You realize that economic activity, even crappy economic activity, creates commerce, creates money, creates jobs, creates all. You realize that when you make something efficient, you eliminate a lot of jobs. It may require a tax cut. Think about that for a minute. If we don't get a grip on this thing, this great momentum that we have right now, this Green New Deal, this idea, and it's just an idea right now. We don't have all the details, but I'm telling you right now, if they come out, they're going to come out. They will come out. They will come out with a tax package of some variety. So they're going to come up with something like they're going to tax Wall Street. There'll be a Wall Street speculation tax. And guess what that is? I'm going to give you a quick primer on taxes so you don't get caught off guard. That is what we call a Pigovian tax, P-I-G-O-U-V-I-A-N, Pigovian, okay? And what that is a tax meant to either dissuade you or incentivize some behavior that is not good with whatever we want it to not be good with. Like, that's why you see taxes on cigarettes. It's not necessarily just to pay for stuff. It's to stop this friggin' healthcare problem, right? So they use taxes as a means of changing behaviors. All right. So a Pigovian tax, like a Wall Street speculation tax, is meant to stop high-speed trading and to ensure that it looks like we're paying for something with something. But the reality is it's all keystrokes. Every single nickel of it is keystrokes. Not one change there. There won't be a single tax dollar reused to pay for any of this stuff. Not one. It'll be all new money. The act of taxing and the act of spending are completely decoupled. They're not a one-for-one. They don't have anything to do with one another. There is no how will you pay for your program. The same way we pay for bombs, period. It's the exact same scenario. You must learn this to be effective, or this Green New Deal energy. You just hit the tip of the spear, guys. This Green New Deal energy only will carry enough water to get us so far. And it will die a terrible death if we don't give the air cover they need by explaining how the economics fulfills this, how a job guarantee fulfills this, how a climate green energy, green taxes, perhaps to de-incentivize or dissuade folks from using different things. Folks, these are very important concepts to get a hold of. And it's very important that we understand that those people, when I say those people, I'm talking about the vast majority of insulated Bernie supporters, people that are vote blue no matter who, that were Hillary supporters, okay? People that you don't like, maybe. People that are Republican. It is incumbent upon all of us to teach them this stuff. Not fight with them, not get in the mud with them, not sit there and call them stupid and an idiot, which I'm guilty of doing many times. It is important that you teach each one of these people, expose them to the information, and then back away. It's just economics. It's not politics. That's the important thing to remember. This is not a political party. This isn't the Green Party. It's not the Democratic Party. It's not the Republican Party. It's just macroeconomics. It's just federal finance, functional finance, okay? Meets sovereign currency. Understanding the way a country that has a sovereign, free-floating fiat currency, not pegged to any commodity, operates. And that's what we have. You must understand this or we will fail. This has never been more important than it is right this minute. Chances are, and I don't believe in this thinking, by the way, so I want to be clear up front, but chances are that anything that gets through the House won't make it through the Senate because the Senate is still very heavily Republican, and there's still partisan logic going on, and a lot of you probably fall into these partisan games and you lose sight of the prize. I don't do that. It's not my game. I stay focused, always on the econ, always on the programs we need, never deviating, always on point. And that's what you need to do. You must recognize that if you allow these distractions to get you, we will not be able to win this war. The lift is so heavy, so unbelievably heavy, that if we don't stay focused, we will not win. And there are powers that be that are extremely well funded, like the Pete Peterson Foundation. There are powers that be like the Koch brothers. There are powers that be even like the Clinton Foundation. Folks, we are surrounded by big money trying to clip our wings and knock us down. It takes a grassroots movement to lift that up. And that's where we come in. And that's why it doesn't matter if the Green Party came up with the name Green New Deal. That's why it doesn't matter if Tim Canova ran on it. It just means that it gives us more exposure to this term to help us facilitate that next series of conversations. And folks, most of your friends don't know how to answer this question. How are you going to pay for it? I will include a link to Stephanie Kelton's lecture at Stony Brook University in just a moment. It's the most clear, concise, easy to understand lecture of all time, explaining how the nation spends, explaining the role of taxes, and explaining how we can do incredibly wonderful things. It breaks down the deficit, it breaks down the national debt, it breaks down every barrier there is. Once you understand this, you can never turn the light off. You can never claim ignorance again. And that, my friends, is my curse to you. Because trust me, it keeps me up at night now that I know. I wish I didn't sometimes. But it is the answer. I'm Steve Grumbine with Real Progressives, hoping you stop worrying about Team Green and Team Blue and start focusing on a Green New Deal. The 99% need it. We need it. Our kids need it. And there's no excuses anymore. Game on, bitches. I'm out. Have a great day, everyone.